Hi and welcome to another of Taft's tutorials. Today we're going to go into reamping a guitar. Now there are a couple of ways to do this in Reaper, and how you would configure your outputs is dependent on your interface. So I have two interfaces. One of them is an M Audio Fast Track Ultra 8, and that's the interface that I'll be using to reamp today. I also have a Behringer UMC 404 HT. Now, to reamp, it's important that you actually have an interface that has more than two outputs, because otherwise the first two outputs will automatically be on main left and right out, and so that creates all sorts of issues. Because what you would need to do is, for example, I've chosen to use output number 8 of my fast track today, so I have a guitar cable coming out of my the output 8 going into my Boss GT6, and then I have a guitar cable going from the output of my GT6 back to the input number 1 on my interface. Before we start, I have heard from people that say that they're experiencing latency and so on trying to do this. Now, that will be because your computer is processing the signal, and if you're using if you're going through twice, it means that it's processing the signal twice. If you're trying to record the guitar live and reamp at the same time, it's processing the signal twice, so you're going to double the latency. Now you're going to get one set of latency with the input signal and then another set of latency added on to the reamped signal. It's always important to go to the preferences, device, ASIO configuration, and that for me brings up this, where if I click setup, I have it set to my preferred buffer rate of 256, because my CPU, my RAM and everything, and what I do, 256, I can manage to do absolutely everything with no glitching or clicks or pops, and I get minimal latency. If we close this and click OK, we can see up here the latency in and out is about 7.8 milliseconds. So we're looking at just over 15 milliseconds latency. It's barely audible. Same with my Behringer, it's set to 256 samples. And it even shows me here what the latency is. The input latency is 9.83 and 8.50, so we're still looking at about 17-18 milliseconds of latency, which is nothing perceptible. So there are two ways of reamping. You're going to want to set up a new track. Actually, before we go into that, I've already recorded a guitar bit completely clean, DI'd. See, no effects whatsoever, no sounds. So we'll go to Reamp, and what we need to do is right click on this and record the output. So record output mono. We'll arm that. The effects here, we'll add reinsert, and we need to go to front 1 and front 1, because that's where my guitar signal is coming into, and go to output 8 and output 8, because that's the output for my signal. Now if I play this, as you can hear, there is a slight latency in what you hear, but that's because it's playing both at the same time. If we go and just record we'll save that. Now if we turn the record off, we should so yep, as you hear, there is actually a slight latency, but there we go. That will compensate for it on a re-record. Press the ping detect. Now also my computer is now struggling because I'm using OBS as well as this at the same time. So let's record. And stop. We'll have a listen back to this. So it's not quite right, but it's almost there. Now I personally prefer, I'll remove this, to actually do this the old-fashioned way. So we've got no sends or receives here. I prefer to open the routing, add a hardware output to output 8, turn the master send off, and then here let's go to input mono front 1 and record input. So if we go back here and go record, now if we come out of this, in the routing we can delete that, we can add the master send back on so we can listen to both at the same time. If I pan one left, one right, give you a chance to hear it a bit better. It helps eliminate the latency because you're not processing the signal twice. So, like I say, it's like reinsert. It's a great little plugin, but I would personally go for the old-fashioned method. It's no more work to do that, and it helps decrease any latency that you're likely to experience. I hope this helps. If you have any questions or you would like to see any other videos, drop a comment, send me a message, and I'll do what I can.